Hey there, I'm back. As I told you, I'm going to be having a bunch of people come through my feed today. And so hopefully you'll be able to get something out of the content I'm producing for you. In the meantime, I have here Michele McCann Kelley. And how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. And where are you from?
I'm from the great state of Delaware, the one with
Ah,
the itty bitty three little counties.
ah,
Born
gotcha.
and bred there. Was not my intention to be here forever. I did escape twice,
Okay.
and fortunately, loving family is what pulled me back.
Okay, cool. So, is there something that you've been discovering through your clients that maybe job seeker nation at large, or people who are at least considering and thinking about leaving their current jobs, that maybe you with your clients that people should be doing in their job search right now?
That's an excellent question, Mark. And yeah, you probably are familiar with the expression, the great resignation.
Hmm.
That is true. And the reason why there's such a movement at this point in time is the level of fear has been reduced from the job seeker's point of view.
Hmm.
They're confident that there really is another out there for them. So it's giving them the ability to take that leap unknown. Sometimes they don't want to walk into the unknown, someone or some company by their side.
Hmm.
In this case, they're throwing all that away for a bunch of good reasons. One of the tops is the ability to work remotely.
Hmm.
With the whole COVID pandemic, the way that we worked caused an immediate paradigm shift. So, an employer's ultimatum of having to return to the office to work or you lose your job is no longer a scary tactic where people will be essentially bullied into staying.
Hmm.
So they're able to take this leap of courage because they realize, first of all, they are able to be as productive and in more than 50% of the cases, more productive working from home.
Hmm.
They've got the ability in their schedule to allow them to get a lot more accomplished. They're understanding they now have value that they can take to the competitor.
Hmm.
So, with this great resignation, understand as a job seeker, you have a great deal of leverage when you're talking to your current employer. If they're insisting that you return, there are subtle ways to let them know that the knowledge that you bring to their organization is valuable and that the contributions you make are, while they might not feel them, they're going to recognize them when you're gone.
Hmm.
There are subtle ways to do that. If you need to get coaching on how to deliver that message, certainly contact a career coach or an interview course. Or I recommend a resume writer. Most resume writers are also career coaches. In essence, they need to be if they're going to be moving you through this process. Probably one of the most valuable people on your transition team. So, with this whole great resignation, think about your transition team. Put one together.
Yeah.
One of the most important people on that transition team will be your marketing expert. In this case, and might I say, your certified professional resume writer. If
Okay.
these people have been vetted by their industry, then you know they're worth your investment. So let's talk about investment for just a
Well,
minute.
actually, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Add a little perspective
Sure.
for you in the that you've seen. Do they feel? Do you feel a little bit more courage and emboldened, or are they coming to you a little bit more scared because they might be missing out on something?
Both. And in terms of missing out on something, there's the
Hmm.
acronym FOMO,
Yeah.
fear of missing out,
Yeah.
FOMO.
Hmm.
So a lot of them are realizing that if they don't make the move now,
Hmm.
when it's easier and more accepted to do that, that they will miss out.
Yeah.
Also consider the longevity that you've and your tenure at various positions throughout your career.
Hmm.
It used to be in the baby boomer days, they called it the cradle to grave employer. Ideally, you really wanted one employer from your first job all the way through until you progressed and then ultimately got the gold watch and retired.
Yeah.
The thinking now is you'll probably be in an employment engagement, that's the whole idea, for about 2 to 5 years.
Hmm.
If you're there longer, now it's a red flag. Well, why didn't someone try to lure you away? How come they didn't want you? How come a competitor didn't reach out? So it is a paradigm shift with these employers to realize if you've been somewhere for way too long,
Mhm.
you're probably not valued in the market. That, of course, that's conception. So it's a matter of putting your best foot forward in the resume to convey your value to what this organization wants to see.
Yeah, and probably if you're not on LinkedIn or you're not, then you think you might be on LinkedIn, you might be a voyeur on LinkedIn, but if you're not engaged in LinkedIn, really don't exist. And that's the thing that I think, resume, when I was a resume writer once upon a time, long ago, far away, you were a default career coach because it was during the Great Recession. So people were looking for advice anywhere, any kind of leverage you can get. Here we are again in a crisis, in a place where the world is on hold, so to speak, in some ways, but in some ways, there are some people who are moving forward with these current trends. So I know that for you, you're seeing a lot of clients coming and asking about how can they stand. So
Correct.
to wrap up, thing to help a client that you help clients do to stand out in this job market in any kind of way.
To determine what value they're going to be bringing to their next employer,
Mm,
whether it is in any industry sector or segment.
mhm.
If you want to work for that company, understand why they need you and articulate that value. So out the window goes the one size fits all resume or one size fits all video.
Mhm.
You may have several out there. And think like that hiring person about what you want to give.
Yeah.
It's all about what they want to receive from you.
Right. You don't want to try to sell meat to a vegetarian to vegetarian market for
Funny you
sure.
should.
True, it is true, and I think that's what people try to do. They think they can will their way or talk their way into a career, and it doesn't work like that. You better be in the same ballpark before you consider, what who you're marketing to, because everybody's a leader now, not just somebody that's a spectator spectating the sport.
Mark, you're right. And to get yourself in that ballpark, you better grab the right bat.
Yes.
Two of the right bats at this point definitely is your LinkedIn profile and, of course, your resume. Even if someone finds you on LinkedIn, they're going to want to see your resume. The resume is not out the door, it is still the critical piece. After all, not everyone's going to want to check out your LinkedIn profile when they put you forth within their own decision makers and their hiring search committees.
Mhm.
They want to see an actual document. So be prepared. Understand you're going to be playing in their ball field.
Yeah, and I love what you said too about having a team. That's really
Transition
important.
team.
It does take a village these days. You got to have proofreaders. You got to have editors. You got to have the writers. If you write yourself, and you've got to have some people who have the right industry perspective for you to latch on to and to reach out to give you advice. So thank you so much for being here today. And
You're
how can
welcome.
people find you?
They can find me through my website, www.careerprousa.net. And while I've been spending 32 years just writing resumes, I certainly have, but I weekend in there as well.
Mhm.
And on nights and mostly weekends, you're going to find me stepping on some stage somewhere across the United States playing global folk music. So my music website is shellykellyband.com.
Oh, how nice.
So for years I've been Michele McCann. And a few years ago I met and married Jim Kelley. So my stage name is Shelley Kelley. Interestingly, Kelly is an EY, so
Mhm.
Shelley is an EY, SHELLEY,
Mhm.
KELLEYBAND, shellykellyband.com. And also, if you happen to be on the East Coast, to program every Wednesday morning on 91.3 FM, WVUD Newark and WVUD HD1. That's right, to the left of your radio dial and on every device you have at WVUD.org. Wednesday morning from 6 to 8:30 a.m. Shelley Kelley from WVUD, the station that loves you back.
Well, that is great. Got a little bonus there too.
Thank
A
you.
little folk music.
By the way, I was a 2019 Folk Musician of the Year for the state of Delaware. I just love to play music. It's my outlet.
Wow.
However, my gift is writing and my skill is marketing people. And that's why you'd like to partner with me. Mark, thanks so much for the opportunity and the time.
Well, thank you all. I'll be back later with more guests, as I promised. They're just coming right on through. So, peace and valley love. Until then, thanks.